Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my first weekly review of CW's The Originals. And you guys know I'm a huge fan of this show. I've done general season reviews for both Season 1 and Season 2, and I'm very happy to finally be caught up and ready for Season 3. I don't need to talk about that too much more because my Vampire Diaries review from tonight went a few more minutes than I probably should have because of me talking about how much I just love both these shows. But I just want to say one more time, I'm very glad that I'm able to be there with everyone else, be along for the ride at the same place, and I'm just looking forward to making both of these shows a more integral and crucial and key part to my channel. So yeah, let's get into it. Now, I don't think I've ever really said which show I like better than the other. It's kind of difficult because, they have a similar feel because they're in the same universe and stuff like that. They exist in the same world, except the Vampire Diaries is probably more romance-driven, except, the Originals has kind of that element too. But, you guys know how much I love the Klaus character. He's probably my absolute favorite character out of both shows. But overall, I think I still only prefer the Vampire Diaries by a bit. It's probably because it's been around longer, so I have more of an attachment to it in general. But The Originals is such a brilliant show. The Klaus character is amazingly written and compelling, as is the rest of his family, like Elijah, Rebecca, even Haley and Marcel and stuff like that. It's just a really well-written show, great stories so far, great history, really rich backgrounds for each of the characters and stuff like that, which is a great thing about the whole world itself, too. Now, which premiere did I enjoy more? Well, in the past, even though I still only prefer the Vampire Diaries, I have said in my general season reviews that The Originals does at times deliver better episodes, just more well done, more, with higher stakes and stuff like that. But I will say I think I actually enjoyed the Vampire Diaries premiere a bit more tonight. There's just something a little bit more entertaining about it. Could have been all the chaos going on with the heretics or something like that, I don't know. But I did still nonetheless enjoy the Season 3 premiere of The Originals here. I thought it was pretty good. Of course, it was titled, For the Next Millennium, Season 3, Episode 1. A lot of this focused on sort of the aftermath of, how Season 2 ended, of course. Which was, of course, showing kind of the continued rift, I should say, between Elijah and Klaus, due to how Klaus chose to execute his plan to defeat Dahlia at the end of Season 2. And, you can debate about this. This is probably a debatable topic worthy of discussion. But, Klaus felt that what Elijah and Freya were planning at the end of Season 2 just wasn't going to work, And in a way, I actually agree with him, because I think there's a lot of ways that their plan was easily going to fall apart. And, it's sort of like The Walking Dead and stuff, too. Sometimes you have to become more cold and calculating to be able to survive this. And it's sometimes a similar thing in The Originals, especially, because Klaus seems like this bad, evil guy, but really, realistically, if you're more like him and if you're thinking more like him, the chances are you're going to be able to protect yourself and those you care about a little bit more often, a little more successfully. So in a way, Klaus is right, but on the other hand, the lengths he went to, like, killing Elijah's girlfriend, Gia, and stuff like that, and, perhaps putting the curse back on Haley, Jackson, and the rest of the Wolves may have been going a little bit too far. But then again, at the same time, he had to make it convincing so he could actually have the chance to backstab Dahlia and make her vulnerable and put her into a sleep and things like that. Also bring Esther out and things of that nature, too. So again, you could debate about this all day, and who knows how it would have went if he had changed certain things about it. Perhaps it still would have worked if he didn't kill a certain person, or perhaps he wouldn't have gone far enough at that point, then it would have backfired in all their faces. So I don't know. But, so a lot of the episode did focus on that, of course, especially the rift between him and Elijah. Elijah's really short, just really this to business about hope with them and stuff like that. No brotherly bonding, no bromance in this episode. But I do think that's going to improve as the season goes on. I have faith in it. Of course, they're saying that Klaus doesn't want to apologize for things he's done because he still believes he's right in that situation. And Elijah doesn't want to forgive him because he's forgiven Klaus and let things go how many times, which is understandable too. But I do think Klaus, even if he was right or not, to a certain extent, may end up actually choosing to apologize to Elijah in some form or fashion at some point. I don't know, I kind of see that coming, but we'll see how it goes. I just love the Klaus character. He carries an already very good show, and I just love how he's developed since he first debuted in season 2 of the Vampire Diaries. He's already developed so much, and I just think the whole original series is kind of, one of the main points is kind of to slowly redeem him as a character as it goes on, and they've been building to that ever since season 1, ever since he was in the later part of the Vampire Diaries and stuff like that. So it's just good to see these little pieces planted here and there where he could possibly do something a little bit better as a person, but I think more of that will come in the later seasons. And I swear if the CW cancels this, I'll be really frustrated. If you thought I was frustrated when Dracula's canceled, you ain't seen nothing. But hopefully, I do think they're going to give the Vampire Diaries their full run, considering I think they're only going to go another season or so after this one. And hopefully they don't cut off the originals either, but yeah, fingers crossed. At least it's not NBC. But yeah. So I really liked all the scenes between Tim and Elijah. You can just feel the tension and stuff like that. And again, I have my notes right here. Of course, there they are for the originals. Really just tons of bullet points in the form of dash marks. But really the same basic concept, obviously. Of course, another big focus of the episode was we seen a few flashbacks kind of focusing on one of Klaus's old friends, Lucien. And really he was kind of a friend to the whole original family, except really it was Klaus's idea to keep him alive when they first met him. Because when Lucien first met the siblings, which included Klaus, Elijah, Rebecca, Finn, Cole, they were at a time when they didn't know how to compel people yet. They were sort of on the run and sort of killing anyone that found out about him as they went. But Lucien was one of the first people that they kept alive, mostly because Klaus's urging and stuff like that. And he was eventually turned. We haven't seen the exact moment where he was turned yet, but I'm sure we'll see it eventually. And we may get a flashback of, Klaus and, the rest of them visiting, the Count and stuff like that, basically the ruler of that particular territory. And, so I think we might see more on that as the season goes on. And at the same time, we see that, Cammy is being brought in by, Vincent to look into these murder cases that have been going on. And, this detective is supposed to be a fairly significant figure this season, I think. I'm not sure how long. Not many human characters last very long on these shows. Unless it's Cammy or something like that. But, of course, Cammy, being as immersed in the world as she is, and of course, really being in love with the most powerful of all vampires, she's pretty much aware right away that it was a vampire attack. But the detective doesn't seem to be aware of that type of things those types of things as far as we know. So she just gives a psychological analysis saying he has a pattern and a methodical way of doing things, the same way every time and things like that. And how he leaves his victims, he had the first one strung up, and then he had the Joker, Heath Ledger style, let's put a smile on their face type of thing going on. So that was kind of cool. Or gruesome, but I enjoy these things. And really, it was pretty predictable who the killer was going to end up being. Of course, it's Lucien. And, so it should be interesting once Cammy starts getting Klaus's attention about it. Let's see. Cammy and Klaus also had some pretty good scenes in this episode too. I actually didn't write that down in my notes for some reason. I think I just wanted to sit back and just watch, you know. But you know, of course, Cammy's just like struggling to, you know, understand Klaus. You know, she's like, her patience is starting to wear thin with him a little bit, I think. And she kind of threw out a pretty big insult to Klaus, calling him an insensitive disappointment. And that almost sounds like something one of his parents would call him, or, you know, like say to him. So I think it actually hurt Klaus when he said it. I know it was when he had brought a painting over he had made specifically for her. But I still think the Klaus and Cammy romance is going to happen at some point. I'm not sure if it'll be this season, but I think it's one of the long-term ones for the show, hopefully. Since I do think she can understand him, and she obviously does see other sides to him if she feels the way she does about him. So she does see more to him than most people do. So I like those scenes. Marcel has since opened up a gym, and Klaus has given him some control to a certain section of the city. And a gym, it's not just a random gym, you know, anyone can work out at. You know, he's basically training vampires to fight and stuff like that. We even see him and Vincent, you know, sparring and stuff like that. Of course, he has to tone down his speed and his strength like that. But Kitty's at the door again. What should I do? We'll let her. We'll test her patience a little bit longer. And we know she doesn't have any, but yeah, we'll see. But we also see Elijah has been stepping in to spar with Marcel to sort of blow off some steam. And they didn't really show much of him and Marcel sparring, but you can probably imagine Elijah was able to throw him around pretty easily. So it was probably pretty fun. Also, there's this group supposedly called, I think they were called Kingmaker Land Development or something like that. I may have that wrong, but, you know, they're turning out, I might count out. Literally, just as she walks out, she walks right back up to the door and starts looking up at me. Ugh. Anyway, I apologize about that, but you guys know the drill at this point. Okay, like I said, this group appears to be, well, I didn't say the whole thing yet, but cat's out the door again. I apologize. That's a cruel trick I pulled. I basically had to make her think she was getting some of her wet food to lure her in. Because I think it's better for her to be freaking out in here so I can actually somewhat control her instead of her banging on the door out there, you know, where everyone else can hear it and stuff like that. But anyway, I apologize for that, guys. I know it probably can get pretty annoying. It's annoying for me, trust me. But I love her anyway. Anyway, yeah, so there was this group hunting wolves in the forest, and of course that becomes a big concern for Elijah because, you know, of course, Haley and the rest of the wolves are like stuck in wolf form except on the full moon where they temporarily turn back into their human form. Kitty's at the door once again. Why don't I just give her her food so she can be distracted for a few minutes? I apologize, guys. Just give me a minute. Feel free to fast forward in this video if you just want to skip this part. I know I would. And I totally understand you guys clicking off at this point. But this is what happens when you don't edit or like redo any of your videos. Straight shot every time. Great. Okay, I got some on my finger. Okay. Really sorry about that, guys. Okay, like I said, that group becomes of big concern to Elijah, of course, of how much she stares. Let me regain my composure, or at least the composure that I do have, anyway. Of course, this becomes a pretty major concern to Elijah, considering how much he still cares about Haley. Let's see. And we got some scenes of him sort of dispatching groups of them left and right, trying to gain more information about him. Also a scene from one of the previews of, like the laser targets, being, like the crosshairs coming onto his, like, chest area and stuff like that. Him just saying how precious before he just, like, starts picking him off left and right fairly easily, so that was kind of fun. And I got some on my shorts, that's great. Anyway. Let me just take a tissue to this real quick. Pretty handy to have tissues in the bedroom, I guess. Once again, I apologize. And so those scenes were pretty fun. That's sort of like our action for the episode, I think. Of course, Davina is dealing with being the new, sort of the leader of the witches in New Orleans and stuff like that. And, she's finding out that everyone fully respects her being in that position. Someone just, like, completely just walked out on her and tried to mess with her body and hands and stuff like that. She's trying to assert herself and things like that. And Marcel's trying to go to her, to get some daylight rings for the people, for the vampires she's training, and for the vampires he's training. And, she's not wanting to accept that. She's not wanting to, appear that she's a vampire sympathizer, because they already think she's one anyway, which she kind of is. And she wants to show that she's going to be a big, tough leader and things like that, like a big girl. Sorry about that. Davina's like the Caroline of the originals to me right now. Except she's probably getting on my nerves a little more than Caroline did in the premiere, for sure. I've grown to like Caroline more, but at this point, something about Davina kind of bugs me. She seems like she's so entitled sometimes, or like she thinks she has all this power, but like she got it all on her own or something like that. Like because she's so smart or something. Like, no, it was basically handed to her because she was a harvest girl. But anyway, so that part of the episode is okay, I guess. Of course, with Lucien being back, he does tempt, him and Klaus are old friends, and he sort of brings out, like, that older, more, arrogant side to Klaus, sort of the partier and the playboy and, things like that, just the more, immature side of himself and stuff like that, the lesser side of himself, really, the darker side. So they feed on a girl together who just happens to, be able to see into his future, supposedly, and things like that. And one of the lines she gave was, as family is undone, you'll see the beast that is to come. I may have gotten part of that wrong, but I wrote a fraction of it down, I think. And I think that's referring to, Lucien and some of the people that may be arriving with him. I read an interview with Joseph Morgan, who plays Klaus, recently. He, in the article is mentioning something about like the Trinity. More people from their past are going to be coming, the ones that they sired. As Lucien explains, a lot of people are wanting to kill, the original family, certain members, depending on the person, because they want to end the sire lines, because if this vampire dies, and a whole bunch of these other vampires die that they turned or were connected to because of the people they turned. Which is something they talked about in the Vampire Diaries at some points too. Because they want to end a certain original's life, so they can, it's kind of like a playing to their turf war, basically. That's how they explained it. And Davina's trying to use Haley, who she lured there while she was in wolf form. Talked about the Cammy and Klaus scenes. And, of course, Klaus has, sort of like an event to display his artwork and stuff like that, but a lot of people don't seem to really understand it, like Cammy does, or they don't see, the hidden depths and emotional meanings behind it, like Cammy and Klaus are trying to evoke in it. Not really Cammy she's not trying to put into it, but, she understands it, and Klaus, so that's sort of a way for him to express himself, like a lot of art can be for people. And because of Lucien bringing out the darker side to Klaus again, Klaus ends up finding that a particular art critic in the alley later on and just dismembering him pretty much. We've seen arms and legs flying, which is pretty brutal and awesome at the same time. So yeah, and like I said, Lucien is revealed to be the killer at the end, which I think we could all see that coming. But yeah, so there's pretty much my thoughts on the season 3 premiere of the originals. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good episode. Definitely not one of the best of the series or anything like that, but a decent premiere, a decent episode, and it's a good enough start to the season. I think this will be a very good season, like all the other ones. It's just such a great show. I'm happy to have both this and, of course, the Vampire Diaries back. I will be reviewing these weekly, and like I said in a video previous, or at least within the last few videos, I did mention I will be going on vacation to Arkansas to visit my brother around the 23rd, and that falls on a Friday, and we're going to be leaving very early in the morning on that day, so I should still be able to get out my reviews Thursday night for you guys, but I'm not sure because I might want to get more sleep if I'm going to be doing that, because I could just sleep on the car or the train we're going on, I don't know, but what I'm saying is it might get a little bit sketchy, and then with my Walking Dead review on the 25th, I might get delayed because we'll be in Arkansas and I won't have my webcam and stuff like that. But I promise I will keep up as best I can. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I did really like the premiere, even though I may have enjoyed the Vampire Diaries one a bit more. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Add me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, Movie Pilot, and look for me on SpoilerDad.com. Catch you guys next time, and peace.